That's about right.
Good morning and welcome to the Drummergy podcast. I'm your host, Fred Rock Fisher. I am here with Treasure Valley Treasure, Ken Harris.
Hi, Fred. How you doing? Whoopee, whoopee. I'm really glad to be here. I've never done a podcast. I've never looked at a podcast. So I am in podcast without a net.
That's right.
But I love my shirt. And this shirt I purchased at the Yellow Pine Festival a few years ago from a young lady who went around to festivals with vintage clothing that she got, and her taste was fantastic. And I wear this all the time.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, you look striking.
Thank you very much.
Ken, did you know this is episode 151?
I didn't.
And we've known each other for a little while now.
Yeah,
and I think when you were here, how long ago was he here, producer? Month ago? 6 weeks ago?
It was right before your trip.
You got to talk on the mic, lady.
It was right before your trip.
Right before your trip.
And
we said we should have you on as a guest on our podcast, and you said yippee.
Yippee.
And you yep. And,
I don't know. I mean, I'm going without a net right now.
Right.
I'll tell you that.
Yeah. And you said, well, I've never realized that being on a podcast was on my bucket list. I think.
Yep, he said that.
I might be paraphrasing a little, but
Well, speaking of 151, when I lived in Boston 22 years as a musician, I moved there to become a musician in 1971, and my very first permanent address in Boston was 151 Beacon Street in Somerville, Massachusetts.
wow.
So this is very fitting.
So does
Nice.
Boston have a good music scene?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Like,
would
is
assume
it-
so.
See, I was going to Portland State University from 69 to 71, and it was kind of Portland back then was kind of dead, not very happening. And then I went to visit my cousin who was going to Boston University, and in 1970, and it was completely nuts with kids. I mean, in Boston, every fall, 250,000 college students move into the Boston area. So there's just young people everywhere in bands and music and art. And so I said, that's it. So I moved there in July in 1971.
Wow.
And I eventually landed up on 151 Beacon Street in a commune. Back in those days, you went and rented a house and 5 people had their own bedrooms.
Yeah.
And then everybody cooked one night of the week.
Oh,
And that was what people did back then.
that's
And
cool.
there's shared bathrooms and stuff. But I hadn't ever cooked before, really. But I cooked on Fridays.
All
That was your night.
Yeah.
That was your night. James Harrison is here. He says hi.
Hi, James. Now I can tell you a story about James, but we'll
Here we go.
no, well,
I know you can.
we'll get to that.
I know that you can. All right. So you admit we were doing sound check, and
I can talk for a half hour on James Harrison.
that's it.
I bet you could talk longer.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
This is how this rolls, buddy. This is how this rolls. So we were doing sound check, and I said, you have a great radio voice, and you told me that you'd worked at a radio station.
Yeah. See, I grew up. Our family was, my siblings and I were all born in Portland, Oregon. Then in 1955, we moved to San Francisco, where my father's from, and in 1950, 56, 57, I discovered rock and roll radio. I had my own little room, a little tiny room, and I had this radio, and I found KOBY rock and roll radio in San Francisco, and that was it. That was it.
Yeah.
So anyway, I just got fascinated with radio and music and everything else, and I would listen to the radio all the time and stuff. And I always wanted. Oh, so then I moved to Boston in 1971 and got into some bands and stuff. And one band I got into was a band called let me think about this, Holiday Rug, and the bass player was this guy. And he was from Detroit, and he had a very, my age, he had a very eclectic uh, record collection. And I went up to his walk-up apartment, third floor in Beacon Hill, an old section of Boston, Beacon Hill, and there in front of me was a radio station. And he had his own pirate radio station. And I said, wow, what's that? And he said, well, WUMB or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And he had put together this radio station, and he played songs over it. And I said, wow, can I go talk on the mic and play a song? He says, yeah. So I did. And that was it.
That was it.
Just like
That was
that. Wow.
And so then I always
A
wanted
star
to,
was born.
and then I always wanted to be a DJ besides being a professional musician. So I was doing some volunteer work for a low-income people organizing drive in Dorchester, Massachusetts, and this kid came in, and we as a volunteer, and I got talking to him, and he mentioned that he was a DJ at a radio station, and I said, "Which radio station?" He said, "WBRS, Brandeis University radio station in Waltham, Massachusetts." So I said, "Gee, could I ever?" "Yeah, come on down." So he came. So I went down and trained with him while he was doing his basically blues radio show.
Oh.
And so one night I was there, and the phone rings. It's midnight. I said, "WBRS, who's this?" "Oh, my name's Ken." "Who are you?" I'm a volunteer. I'm learning how to. You want to do a show tomorrow morning?" And I said, "Well, I'm just training. I know." "Well, you want to be a radio DJ, don't you?" I said,
Whoa.
"Yeah." "So you're on tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. And that was it.
Wow.
Wow.
And so for about a year, my last year or so, year and a half in Boston, Massachusetts, I did the Tuesday morning 6:30 a.m. to 9 a.m. shift.
Wow.
And that was it.
Wow.
That's a
Then
a hot shift.
And then to make a long story short, I moved to Boston. Sorry. I moved to Boise to help start the Blues Bouquet nightclub, and KJoy, KJOY, happened to need a DJ for their Sunday morning blues radio show.
Oh,
So I said,
sign me up.
so I started doing KJOY in the mornings, on the Sunday mornings in Boise, Idaho, in July 1993.
Is that when you're not a Idaho native?
Yes. Well, okay. So after San Francisco, I moved with my parents and my little sister to Boise, Idaho in 1960.
Oh,
My dad got a job with a Boise Cascade. So Boise at that time had 42,000 people.
yeah.
1960, Boise, Idaho, 42,000 people. Right?
Wow.
So then I started listening to rock and roll radio in Boise, Idaho. And so I graduated St. Joseph's Elementary School in 1963 and Boise High in 1967. Went away to college, then went to Boston, came back in 1993 to help start the Blues Bouquet nightclub in Boise in 1993.
Wow.
So when did you start music?
Well,
What did you learn first and when?
no, wait a minute.
Uh-oh.
Excuse me. So I was born to a very, very, very musical family. Both my parents,
Ah.
pretty much both sets of grandparents were musical and had that thing. And so I was the fourth out of 5 kids. And I remember we were going in the family station wagon before my little sister was born, the 4 of us, and we're going in the family station wagon, sort of in a business pleasure trip from Portland, Oregon to Jackson Hole. And I was in the back seat. And here they go. My parents and my 3 older siblings, they start singing the songs they all knew. And my mother is in the front seat playing a ukulele, and I'd never even known my mother could play the ukulele. So they
Wow.
started going through all these songs, and I was
Wow.
in the back. I was 4 years old, 5 years old, and I remember saying to myself, these people have a complete repertoire. I didn't say it in those words, but basically it was all a thing.
Right.
And this was the first time I'd ever heard them sing all that stuff. And I wanted to be in that band. And so that was my first band,
Wow.
the
Family
family band.
Wow.
Partridge Family.
That's awesome. So how many instruments can you play?
Well, I play the harmonica. I play the melodica, or right over there. I play the piano. I play the I play the organ. I play the accordion right down there. Basically, the keyboard instruments. I play a little bit of drums.
Oh.
I play, but that's it. But I don't play anything that I have to tune myself.
Mm.
Wow.
You don't. That's such a funny way to put that. I don't play anything that I have to tune myself.
I also heard you play a doctor on TV. Ding ding.
Oh no.
And here we are.
Here we are.
Oh, wow.
Here we are. Seal says 93. I thought it was there in 1987, the Blues Bouquet. But you started working.
Okay, now the Bouquet had been around Boise forever.
Yeah.
The Bouquet.
Oh.
We were starting. Barney Southard and his wife Dee had the idea that they wanted to start Idaho's first blues nightclub. So they put the whole thing together. And one of our investors, who Barney and I graduated Boise High School with in 1967, he said, why not just call it the Blues Bouquet? So the Blues Bouquet happened in 1993, but the Bouquet bar had been there forever.
Gotcha.
For years and years and years.
Wow. Well,
Okay.
we're going to come back to the world of nightclub
Okay.
ownership and management and all
Okay.
that stuff, because
Okay.
there's a lot of
There's a lot to unpack.
there's
there.
a well, yeah. I'm going to go backwards just a little bit,
You go.
if that's okay.
Yeah, whatever you want. I'm fine without a net. I'm just talking. You just.
This was just the introduction to the
Right.
show.
Yeah, this is just the introduction to the
teaser.
show. I go through these goofy holidays, Ken, because there's a goofy holiday for everything.
Yeah.
I think there should be a Ken Harris Day coming up.
There should be.
Well,
Well, there should be.
I don't want to participate in that if you don't mind. But you know, it's your show. I'll do whatever you.
Okay,
What do you say?
I'll make you dance. I pull the strings here, Ken Harris. I'm a good puppeteer. So, did you know that today is National Candy Day?
Candy?
Yeah.
No.
Candy,
How weird is that? I mean, we just
Hey.
had Halloween.
I didn't know that, but I'll play along.
Yeah. Are you a sweets guy?
Well, I have my opinions.
You have your opinions.
So in grade school, we had the Pez dispensers.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah.
the little things that like
Right.
that. I loved what's that maple candy? Oh man. Anyway, yeah, no, I can't think of all that stuff right now, but I had a few favorites as
Yeah.
a kid growing up. But I wasn't an aficionado. But Pez candy, we all had the Pez dispensers.
Man, I remember having those too when I was a kid. And actually, it was rare that I would have when people I'd go to school would have a Pez dispenser,
Yeah.
and everybody be,
Yeah.
oh, you have a
An owl,
right,
or a
right.
clown.
You just tilt the head back and out spits the little piece of candy, right? And,
What was that?
yeah, that was really that was the thing. You know, do they still make those? Do they still?
Yes.
Oh,
sell?
yeah. Oh, they must. Yeah, man.
Yeah, they do.
And I think
Our kids have had 'em.
there's a an on you can buy the vintage ones from the 1950s.
Yeah.
Don't you
A
think?
bit of
I
honey
think
I would
for
think-
those.
I think you can.
There's got to be a market for all of that
Yeah.
somewhere. eBay's alive probably with those.
Yeah.
Take a look, producer. Can you buy a Pez?
Yes, you can. You can. I see
You don't
them
have to
all
look it up.
I
Ah.
don't even have to look it up. I see them all the time.
Was it Bit of Honey? Was that the name
Bit
of it?
of honey. That's it.
Oh, that's not
That's
maple.
it. That was one of my favorite candy things, bit of honey.
Good job,
Did
Seal.
you just make that up?
No,
No.
we just.
Oh, you
Seal commented that. Bit of honey.
All right, bit of
Yeah.
honey. Thank you.
See, the
Isn't it
audience is saving
Bit
us.
honey.
The audience
I
is
love bit
saving
honey.
us.
Yeah.
All right.
Today is also National Chicken Lady Day.
Chicken lady, cool.
Chicken lady.
Now, do you know what any of that means?
No,
All right, so I tried to look up, like, what does that mean?
National Chicken Lady.
All I can think of is the chicken lady thing from the Bon Jovi concert.
Right,
Chicken
that
lady.
big inflatable
inflatable
chicken lady that was dancing. So
Oh,
I
wait.
had to look it up.
Okay, go ahead.
There's a woman by the name of Tina Dupree,
Yeah.
Dr. Tina
Yeah.
Dupree, and
Uh-huh.
she did like a lot of work in her community wherever she lived, which I can't remember off the top of my head. But President George W. Bush named her Chicken Lady and made today Chicken Lady Day because she also helped have this famous chicken restaurant chain, which they didn't say which one it was, but I don't know if it was Kentucky Fried Chicken or not.
Yeah.
But she had like a huge part of the success of that business. So
Wow.
he named her the Chicken Lady and made November 4th Chicken Lady Day.
Wow. Did you? I heard a rumor that the first Kentucky Fried Chicken opened up in Utah.
In Utah.
Really?
Yeah.
The very first?
And
Wow.
there's a Idaho connection with the gestation and the founding of Kentucky Fried Chicken, but we don't need to get into that. But let's National Chicken Day.
Chicken Lady Day.
Does anybody out there do you remember the movie Freaks, directed by Todd Browning in 1932? The same guy
I
that
wasn't
directed
alive.
Dracula, and it's this horror movie, and it's centered around a circus, and the stars are the freaks of the circus.
Yeah.
And in the end, the bad lady, the villain lady, gets turned into a human chicken.
What was the name of this movie?
What?
Freaks.
Freaks?
Freaks,
Freaks?
1932, directed by Todd Browning, and he's the same guy that did Dracula, but it's a iconic old horror movie, but the stars are the actual freaks in the circus.
Wow. We're gonna have to watch that. We gotta find that. We gotta somehow find that movie now.
And the bad lady, the bad woman, villainous, gets turned into
Into a human chicken.
yeah.
Well,
Wow.
that sounds like that would be an appropriate movie to watch on Chicken Lady Day.
Right. That's
Well,
yeah.
maybe.
Oh.
Anyway, go ahead.
Oh, James Harrison, the Colonel himself, said the first franchise was in Salt Lake City.
Oh, there it is.
Thanks,
There it
James.
is.
Hey, I got to talk about James later on. Don't let me forget, because I got some things to talk about.
We
James.
could talk about him now.
James
Now?
going,
Cool.
Let's roll.
Okay. So James, when I moved to Boston, when I moved from Boston back to Boise in
Uh-huh.
1993, I was, again, going without a net. We were the three musician owners of the Blues Bouquet Blues nightclub. And this was for Idaho's first blues nightclub. And so I started getting to know all these musicians in Boise, and one of the guys that I found out about, one of the heavy reputation drummers, was this guy named James Harrison.
Oh,
And I never knew him very well or anything like that, but he what he was playing in the house band at Hannah's with Rocky, the lead singer, and I sat in one night with Rich Gary on bass, I think it was, and Richard Solis on guitar, and Rocky and me one night, and that was the loudest gig I ever played.
Wow.
And James,
The Animal
you
Harrison.
over there, Richard Gary over there, Rocky right there, Richard Solis over there, were coming at me, boom. And you guys were fantastic, and James Harrison is a fantastic drummer, but that was it. Now, but that's not. Now I want to get to the good James Harrison stuff. So,
That was the bad?
well, it
Well,
was
that's the worst.
uncomfortable for my ears.
Oh, gotcha.
Oh, well, I don't know that it gotten any quieter.
Okay, now here I go to James Harrison stuff.
I love it.
So James Harrison was a heavy duty educator, drum teacher, maybe as a professor at BSU,
Mhm.
and so I formed mostly original band, horn band in Boise about 13 years ago. It's called Phantasmagoria.
Wow.
Mostly of my own original songs, and lots of and the horn. There's a 6-piece horn section or 5-piece, I forget, 6-piece, and Stanton Mayhew was the section leader of the horns. One day we got this gig in Nampa, and the drummer for some reason couldn't do it. So me or Sandon recruited James Harrison to play the songs. And these are difficult funk rock blues songs. And James Harrison just listened to the songs, and we started the gig, and here goes James Harrison starting the groove, and he's looking up at me, and yeah, you're nailing it, dude. And that was what my smile meant.
Nice.
Yeah.
But
man.
that's not my favorite James Harrison story.
Oh.
So we had started in January 2017 a band called the Idaho Peace Band. That's all ages, all experience levels. As a matter of fact, the Idaho Peace Band is playing this Saturday at the Veterans Day Parade downtown Boise.
All right.
Oh.
Okay. And so we were wondering, we needed a band bass drum. And that was where for some reason, I called up James Harrison. I said, James, I'm doing this all ages, all experience levels thing called the Idaho Peace Band. We would love to have an old drum. And do you know anybody, or do you have any old marching band drums lying around?
And he did, didn't he?
So Pat Reed, one of the drummers, and I go down and meet James Harrison down at this sort of nondescript looking place down off Shoreline Drive.
Mm-hmm.
So James Harrison, he says, okay, here you go. This is the right place. He goes up to his storage facility. The door is 15 feet high. So he goes down and he and there, ladies and gentlemen, is a pile of drums.
Yes.
And I'm surprised that they didn't start falling off. Well, they could have started falling off. And so James Harrison crawls up on all these drums and said, I think there's one here. So we still have it. And so we now, the Idaho Peace Band this Saturday is going to play the bass drum that we got from Mr. James Harrison.
Wow.
Not only that, we got a marching snare drum from James Harrison. But James, thank you very much. I've thanked you before. Thank you again. Your old bass drum lives on.
That is great. That is great. James would be the one that has that stuff.
Oh boy, don't get me started. Anyway,
yeah,
I've seen James Harrison's podcasts a little bit, and he goes on these snare drum. I'm not a drummer, but James Harrison is into it, and Well, you've seen his podcast.
I have. Yeah,
we've seen some of his drum collection too.
Yeah. He's got everything.
He's got
everything.
Right.
He's got all.
But every time I see James Harrison, he says, "Tell that Ken Harris he owes me money."
Oh, well, hey,
no, he doesn't say that. He does not say that.
If I do, I owe James Harrison because he provided the Idaho Peace Band with its marching bass drum.
Yeah, that's great. And this Saturday is the parade, Veterans Day Parade.
At 10 a.m., the annual Veterans Day Parade, and TLC Landscape Company is donating a big long trailer for us all to ride in during the parade.
Nice.
And where does one go to watch the parade?
Well, it's just downtown Boise,
by
the Capitol and all that.
Yeah, just and you can go online where it is. We're going to meet at and we're recruiting. Actually, we always are looking for a few good members for the Idaho Peace Band. There are no dues. There are no fees. All you have to do is show up, and there's no time commitment. You have to be able to play your instrument in tune and keep time.
That's not too much to ask.
No.
Well,
And
what
I've asked you,
instruments-
Fred, if you have any young drummers who might want to join this band.
Yeah, I keep putting the word out. I think every year you ask me this. But
We need, like, a little
I haven't had any
flyer.
takers
If
yet.
we need like a little flyer we can put up on the wall there.
But you can
That's
go
true.
onto YouTube and type in Idaho Peace Band, and there we are.
Wow.
Really?
Wow.
Mhm.
Ken, so what did you say the population of Boise was?
1960, 42,000 people.
42,000 people.
Yeah.
What is the population of Boise now?
287.
Yeah, it's
Can you find that information really
It's
quick
every-
there,
you know,
Mary?
everything has exploded.
Yeah.
And when I moved back here in 1993 from Boston, a lot of people that I went to grade school and high school with were complaining about the traffic. Oh, the traffic!
It says
Oh, the traffic!
It
And
says the metro
They
area.
didn't. I was living in Boston for 22 years. That has traffic.
Sure. Yes.
Boise has some traffic.
Right.
Now, I was trying to turn onto your street today
Yeah.
with the commuters. That was hard.
Yeah.
It is
From Lake Hazel.
Yeah.
Well, when we moved into this house in 2000. We had
Yeah.
that's when it was built.
Uh-huh.
It's 25 years ago,
Uh-huh.
and it seems so far out.
Oh yeah,
I mean, it was
Yeah.
like
Oh,
all
yeah.
farmland,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Now
yeah.
it's all
Now
it's all housing.
it is what it is, right?
It's
If we don't like it, we can move to Melba.
sure,
Or
But
if we
I-
don't like it, we can move to Marsing. But
I'm gonna stay right here.
okay,
Well, okay, so the population, it says the Boise population is 238, 443, but the metro is 482.
oh okay.
Okay, so a significant change from,
Oh yeah.
you said 64. Was that the year?
60.
No, I moved here in 60,
No,
Sorry,
what was
62?
the population?
42,000.
42,000.
Yeah, but what year was that again?
1960.
Oh, okay. And then the Blues Bouquet,
Yeah,
1993.
we had our run was 1993 to 2004.
Okay,
People refer to it still as a Blues Bouquet,
right.
but we created Barney Scoro, and in specific, we created the name the Blues Bouquet because it was a blues nightclub,
Right.
and that only specifically lasted 11 years.
Is that a good run for
Jeez, I thought it was longer than
owning a club?
Oh,
running a club?
we the first 3 or 4 years we were rocking. There were a number of things that we weren't counting on, and that weren't our fault. Then there was a number of things that were our fault, but it was if I had to do it all over again, and I don't recommend that I do,
Yeah.
or my marriage might not survive.
Uh-huh.
But if I had to do it all over again, I'd do it differently. But running a bar, a live music nightclub, is extremely difficult. And I've been a professional musician for 63 years. And in all the big village, or so to speak, of professional music and stuff, the hardest thing is running a venue. That's what's hard. The taxes and the regulations and the employees. And we had we lucked out with a bar manager named Joe Freiberger, who had been a bar manager in Wyoming, and we couldn't have done it without her. Anyway,
Well, I want to talk.
Oh, no,
I
you
want to
didn't.
talk about this a little bit more
Go ahead.
because you have a lot of experience, and you mentioned there's stuff that you would have done differently.
Yeah.
We see venues kind of come and go over the last few years,
Yeah,
and what I want to know is, like, the musicians will see it from a certain point of view,
Yeah.
and if a venue closes down, especially one that they enjoy going and playing, they start posting
speculations.
like, yeah, they're speculating on what happened and why it would have closed, and they start pointing fingers at, like, well, they did this and they should have done that, but none of them are business owners. So I want to
Okay.
know from your vast experience and what you see today happening. Like, what are your thoughts
Okay,
on all
I
of
have
that?
something to say.
Yes, that's why I'm asking.
To all you musicians out there
Yes.
who have a problem with operators of venues, and they did this. Musicians out there complaining, go open up your own nightclub.
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then you'll find out what it's like. And we had a lot of that stuff, not, we were all nice people and stuff. And like, for example, we had a policy where we would start the live music at 9:15.
Mhm.
But a lot of musicians around were used to starting to play at 9:45. And I remember one of these local musicians saying to me, "Hey, Ken, we usually start at 9:45. You start at 9:15. What's up with that?" And I looked at him and I said, "Go start your own nightclub."
Yeah.
Did he?
And
Probably not.
And of course, it's very difficult. And a lot of people gave us 6 months.
Wow.
Oh, 3 musicians opening up a nightclub. Yeah, right. I'll give them 6 months and then they'll fold.
Mm-hmm.
And we lasted 11 years.
And you said the Bouquet was just a bar.
Well, the Bouquet was a very, 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 very popular live music bar.
Oh, okay.
Before my time,
Uh-huh.
during the 80s,
Okay.
it was rocking and rolling with bands like the Secret Agents and the High Tops.
Okay.
And I never really saw those bands, but they were very popular. And the drunk driving laws were much less rigidly enforced back then.
Yeah.
So, and fake IDs were easier to get back then.
Oh, yeah.
And then at some point, the drinking age was 19 or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Yada, 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 yada. So everything was really rocking and rolling back then. Before I arrived back here from Boston in 1993 after having been gone for 25 years.
Yeah. Well, other than your advice on go start your own nightclub.
Oh, I got lots of other advice.
Yeah, I would like. Let's get some of those.
Oh, okay. Be careful. Location. Be careful about opening up a location that's too large. The Blues Bouquet was very popular, and when we rocked, but that was a lot of square footage that we had to pay for. We got a great deal from the landlord for the amount of rent per square foot, but there was a lot of times at night when it was kind of empty. And if we would have started at a place, or if I had to do it all over again, I would get a smaller place. Another thing is the ASCAP, BMI, CSAC royalties for the publishers. If you have a venue that is playing recorded music, anything like that, you have to pay these fees to BMI, ASCAP, and CSAC, and that's pretty expensive.
Yeah.
Then you have taxes and everything else, and then you have people with fake IDs and all that stuff. But we had a policy. We were down on 10th and Main, away from more of the mayhem with younger patrons at 6th and Main, and we had a very rigid policy. We did not, on purpose, overserve just to make more money.
Right.
And if you got 86 kicked out of our nightclub, you got kicked out once, and that was it.
Yeah.
And you were banned 86, as we say, for life.
Wow.
So that reputation got around. Then, and I don't want to have a little thing about the Blues Bouquet travails and this and that and this and that, but these are some of the factors. But Joe Freiberger, our bar manager, was fantastic, and she preferred to hire wait staff that had never done it before. Oh. And she trained them her way.
Sure.
Rather than, well, at such and such, we used to do it like this.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
That's a good idea.
Well, I guess part of my point being, like, running a venue, with your BMI, ASCAP, and what was the other one? CSAC,
Mhm.
and your liquor license,
All that
and
stuff.
I mean, even if you aren't a bar and you're opening a business, it's very expensive.
Yeah, and the taxes and stuff, and
insurance.
insurance, the whole thing. It's quite now. Musicians, okay, this is addressed to you, whining musicians who find fault with bar owners and everything else. All you have to do is put air in your tires, show up on time.
Right.
That's all you have to do. Now, if you don't get hired back, Mr. or Ms. Musician, maybe you didn't help promote your gig to bring people into your into the gig.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's not all on the bar or the nightclub to bring the people in. If you want to get hired back, you have to promote and bring people into the nightclub so the nightclub owners can say, oh, these people that we're hiring tonight are bringing their people in, they're spending money, we're going to hire them back. Now, I know somebody within the sound of my voice who's in this band called Casio Dreams, and Casio Dreams seems to have a following.
Yeah.
Casio Dreams seems to bring people in because Casio Dreams seems to work at getting people to their gigs.
Yes. Yes.
All this seems obvious and stuff, but it's
right.
not. When I was back in Boston, I didn't know anything. But I rapidly found out why every time I would call up this one particular club owner, he was always in a grouchy mood.
Mm.
He wasn't grouchy at me. It's very, very, very difficult.
Yeah. I think there's just a lot of expenses that go into, like you were saying, your rent.
Yeah.
Just the
your
startup
insurance,
expense alone is
taxes.
Your taxes, the wages you have to pay out,
and then employees
staff,
who have issues,
your liquor license,
employees who can't show up to the shift tomorrow because their dog's second cousin has a birthday party that night.
Right. Yeah.
Well, then we'll be short-staffed.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then short staff. What happens when you do have a high tops playing there and the place is packed and you're short staffed and you can't serve the drinks fast enough?
I'll never forget the very first night we had an outside band at the Blues Bouquet. I went over to some friend's house for a Christmas party, and I got back there and the place was packed. And so I just said, oh my gosh. So I went around bussing. All I could do was bus empty glasses and bring them back to the bar, because that's what started us off hiring local road bands, and it was Too Slim and the Tail Draggers.
Wow.
And the
way.
And the Boise Blues Society brought them in. They were the promoter that brought them in. The place was packed.
Yeah.
So we said, oh, we've got to bring in some more road acts.
Wow. Wow.
Interesting.
Well, so when somebody gets into business, they're in the business of making money, or hope to, right? And they have some kind of plan on all of that.
Uh-huh.
But just like you said, like the musician on the outside, they have typically have no idea what all is involved with this. They just see very surface things and say, oh, well, if they would have done this and that and the other.
Well, anyway, it's
so okay. So cover charge or no cover charge?
Well, that's a whole nother thing. See,
then
that's very, very difficult. You have to have a cover charge. So some people say, well, if you charge a cover, people won't show up. Well, you just have to go for it so the musicians don't starve and stuff. So set a value on your product, on your music. And, when Casio Dreams does a gig, very often they establish with the venue operators a cover charge. Now, if Casio Dreams is playing a summer concert out in some place for families and stuff, well, it's a free event, so there's no cover charge there. Right. But we sometimes did not have cover charges, and we sometimes did. but that's very, very difficult. And running a live music venue these days is light years away from the way it used to be.
Yeah.
Now there's all this other stuff that people can do with their time, like the internet and and Netflix and staying on your couch and doing this. But in the old days, and I remember these bars, nightclubs would have the same band 5 or 6 nights a week, sometimes for multiple weeks.
Right.
I was never in one of those bands that traveled around. Okay, 3 weeks in this nightclub, 5 or 6 nights a week in Boise. Then we're going to go to Missoula, and then we're going to go to Ogden, and then we're going to go to Denver. And there was a big giant circuit that people would play, because the nightclubs could sustain business 6 or 7 nights a week with live music. Again, the drunk driving laws were much less rigidly enforced, and all these other factors.
Yeah.
Yada, yada, yada.
Dino's was kind of the place for those.
Dino's. See, I heard about that.
Yeah.
And I knew people that played there.
There's also Rascals.
See, that was all. See, again, I was pretty much gone from 67 to 93, 25 years. A lot happened back then. But I remember I came back to visit my parents from Boston, and I found out that that Tower of Power, one of my favorite bands, was playing at the 121 Club. So I took my parents. My only concert I ever brought my parents to was Tower of Power.
Wow.
At Bill's 121 Club, and I remember my mother saying, "Oh, it's just like Glenn Miller, only modern."
Just like Glenn Miller, only modern.
And but I can see in a horn section, and and so that's how they related. And my dad told me about when he was traveling on business from Washington, D.C. back to Portland in the 1930s or whatever it was, and he stopped at the Chicago's train station, which was one of the central things, and he went to hear Benny Goodman in the afternoon in a ballroom right next to the Chicago train station. And that was a big deal for him because he loved Benny Goodman.
Wow.
Well, I remember I didn't graduate high school until 90. So I was 21 in 93. So there were a lot of clubs I didn't get to go to, but I know that Dino's was still around. Rascals was on Fairview and that Fairview Square. And the Bouquet, Blues Bouquet, Graney's, Tom Graney's, Hannah's.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was happening. It was happening.
Were you friends with all these other club owners? Or were they like, oh, that's my competition?
No, we knew each other, but we were so busy. See, Joe Freiberger, the best bar manager in the universe, who still has Joe's Traveling Bar, and she takes her bar and her staff around to every place and does traveling bar stuff. She said, my biggest enemy is not the other nightclubs. My biggest enemy is the couch.
Wow.
People deciding to
to
get up
stay
off
home.
their couch and go out into their car, start their car, and go to an establishment. That was her biggest enemy. It wasn't Granny's or Hannah's or anything like that.
Yeah.
Just the people staying home.
There's so many things. And in Boise now, there's just so many different things you can do.
Yeah. And Boise has a pretty good music scene here. And it's the hottest gig in town is the Riverside Hotel and all their various venues. But Linda and Dave, the owners of the Riverside Hotel, they were musicians once, and they know what they're doing. And they, since they were musicians, they know what the drill is. And so that's why the Sandbar and the Sapphire Room and the 365 lobby in the Riverside Hotel, that's what the hottest gig in town is. And they're the top of the heap, and they're really nice people.
Yeah.
Well, and they have the other outside.
Yeah,
section out
the other one, and I haven't even been to that, but
Yeah.
that it's a nice place to go hear music
Mm-hmm.
with, and you sort of have to, when you're operating something like that, you have to look at your business through your customer's eyes, and then cater to what the customers might want. Dirty bathrooms? No. Trash, cigarette butts all over your floor?
Ugh.
Bad idea. Yada, 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 yada. People who drink too much and they still get served? Bad idea.
Yeah.
Again, this over serving, over drinking stuff has rapidly subsided because the drunk driving laws, to law enforcement's credit, are being much more rigidly enforced.
Yeah.
Well, they lowered the limit too, because it used to be 0.1.
Oh, there's another thing that we didn't see coming. See, when we were starting, the legal amount of alcohol in the bloodstream was 0.1.
Yeah.
Then the legislature changed that from 0.1 to 0.08.
Yeah.
That was a really big deal back
Yeah.
in the mid 90s. And so that set off a rash of drunk driving arrests downtown.
Yeah.
And since there's no crime downtown, it was easy for law enforcement to see, oh, did that person just change lanes without signaling? Let's pull them over. Is that person have a taillight out? Let's pull them over. And so it was very easy to blow, into the breathometer or whatever like this. And if you just had a 16-ounce beer, you might be over the limit if the legal amount of alcohol in the bloodstream is only 0.08.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like a lot,
right?
0.02, but it is.
It is.
And we didn't see that coming.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Read them and weep.
You said something that kind of struck me for a second. Is I think generally people like to go to nice places.
Yeah, nice places.
And when you go to a venue and you go in the bathroom and this stall's got a garbage bag over it and says out of order and there's no paper towels or there's a thing for them and it's not full and there's just trash everywhere.
The floor's wet and you don't know why.
Yeah,
all that stuff you have to keep in mind if you want to make a good impression on your customer, so they'll come back.
Right. Yeah.
Not, oh, I'm never going back to that place. The waitress was rude, or the waiter was rude, or the bartender was rude, or the bathrooms were trash, or I ordered some food and it was cold. All that stuff, if you don't have, you as an owner, if you don't have that, what does the customer see? If they don't keep coming, if it's not all happening, then they're not going to come back the second time. And that's not a good thing if they don't come back the second time. I'll never go back to that place the second time. That's the way I am.
Yeah, I have a handful of places I won't return to.
Yeah.
So even some that I've given a second or third chance to, it's just
So one complaint that we would get when we'd be when negotiating with a club for coming back or whatever, is a complaint we would hear is, well, your crowd doesn't buy any drinks, your crowd doesn't spend any money. And then when we ask people in our audience, like just asking friends or whoever, like we'll find out from them, well, nobody waited on us, we could never get to the bar, like we couldn't order anything, we wanted to but we couldn't. You couldn't get to the bar. So well, see, that's, is that a training? Yeah. If that's another thing, if you're opening up a thing like that, you have to keep all that in mind. Tell the wait staff, you doing okay? You doing okay? You doing okay? Don't leave somebody alone for 22 minutes. Right. Look and see if they're ready to. Now, if they don't get trained properly, that's a bad thing. If you have a busy night and there's only one bartender,
Well, somebody else pitch in and become a bartender behind the bar. But if there's a line, it's a bad look. It's you have to have the perspective of the audience member out there. Period.
Well, is it a big deal to bring in more staff on nights where it's going to be more crowded?
And scheduling, that's a whole nother thing. Well, what's it going to be like Friday night? Oh, I don't know. Sometimes somebody has to see, and again, I've never been a bar manager, but Bob, we're packed. Can you come in, please?
Yeah.
Or if you're an owner or a manager, okay, manager, you better become a bartender.
Yeah.
Or
bus tables or
all that stuff. All that
Yeah.
stuff. And again, Joe, he had this vast wealth of experience running bars and stuff in Wyoming. And so we never would have survived without her.
Well, you said you left the Christmas party and went to the Bouquet and it was packed, and you immediately just started busting all the empty glasses.
Well, I that's all I knew how to do because they were piling up on people's
But
tables.
you didn't just stare at them and go,
No,
I guess somebody will probably take care of that.
Here they are.
Yeah.
Take the empty glasses back. Take the empty glasses back. So the customers don't have to be at their table with 4 empty glasses.
Right.
That's a negative.
Yeah.
There's positives and negatives.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, can I change the subject?
Please.
Can we talk about music?
Yeah.
Of course.
Well, I think we could put the lid on that. It's been a hot topic item over the last few months with different venues closing down and things like that. And then all these musicians raising their fists like, wow.
Yeah.
And just like you said when at the beginning, it's like, hey, you're welcome to go start your own deal, right?
But outsiders, musicians and non-musicians alike, they have good points. And I hate to say this, but when somebody opens up a bar, sometimes they're opening it up for the wrong reason. They might be an alcoholic. They might want to feed sometimes they might want to feed their alcoholic habit and those of their friends. And I talked to this agent who we started working with, who would send us really good road bands. And he would say, it's really nice doing business with you guys. You professional musicians who knew what we were doing, and we had a good bar manager.
Yeah.
And he told me about this story. And he said, there was this place in Oregon or wherever it was. There was a pretty hot place. And we went, my promoter company, we went to the bar owner and said, tell you what, we'll hire the band, we'll take the door, you just sit, you just take the food and the beverage, and we'll do everything. And the bar owner says, wait a minute, if that happens, we'll start getting more people and we'll have to hire more staff.
Uh-huh. That's usually what happens with growth.
And I said, what? And he said, Ken, that kind of stuff happens all the time. And it was this guy that told me that some bar owners like to open up a bar for free drinks for them and their friends. That's not a good reason to open up a bar.
No.
It's like restaurants open and close all the time. I can't believe, not being a cook myself, why so many restaurants open up. But everybody thinks that their quesadilla from their family or their roast beef sandwich that they grew up with their grandmother's recipe is going to kill, and they want the public to taste the brisket or the roast beef or the chicken salad sandwich that they grew up with that was a recipe of their grandmother. But it's so difficult to run a restaurant, and the people who do it, God bless them.
Right.
Maybe it's hard to, it's probably hard to open up a drum studio to teach drum students, or a landscaping company but I think it must be harder to open up a bar or a restaurant.
Yeah, I would think
Yeah.
so.
I think any business is hard to get going,
Yeah.
and then depending on what that business is going to
Yeah.
have its own set of things to navigate.
Just the liquor license is a challenge, right?
Well, that's a whole nother story.
Let's get into the Boise Blues Society.
yeah.
Okay, Boise Blues Society.
Are you the originator of
No, no,
this?
no, no,
I know that you're
no, no, no.
involved.
No. So the Boise Blues Society is now called the Idaho Blues Society.
Okay.
Oh.
And they started up in 1992. Well, conveniently, the year before we opened up the Blues nightclub known as the Boise, known as the Blues Bouquet. So when we arrived, we had this sort of organized entity, the Boise Blues Society, to help cater to our blues-loving audience. So I started off being a de facto board member of the Boise Blues Society because I was the outside public dude, marketing publicity
Gotcha.
dude of the Blues Bouquet. So I was on and off, on the board, off the board, working with the Boise Blues Society forever. And I just resigned from the Boise Blues Society board about 2 years ago, but I still run the Idaho Blues Society Blues in the Schools program, which the Idaho Blues Society has been raising funds for since 2007. And we take musicians and blues bands into schools free of charge and tell them about this American music that we all love called blues. And we've been doing that since 2007. And we're going to go into the Idaho Charter School for the Arts in Nampa on Thursday morning.
Wow.
And some of us just got back from doing an intensive 2-day Blues in the Schools program in Grangeville.
Wow. How often do you do that?
We did 19 of them last year.
Wow.
Okay.
And there's a fellow named Walt who helps get grants for this, so the musicians can get paid a little bit, and so we do that. And some of the musicians get paid, and some of the musicians donate their share back to the Idaho Blues Society. And the blues. Oh, here's another thing, folks. Another arm extension of the Blues in the Schools program is the Unwanted and Unused Instrument Donation Program. If you or anybody that you know have a trombone that your grandson played in middle school and no longer plays, or that you played in middle school and it's just lying around, contact the Idaho Blues Society and we will find a school program to donate that instrument to. And we've been doing that ever since the pandemic. And we've placed a lot of unused instruments and unwanted instruments with local schools, because local schools don't have any money to buy new trumpets and stuff like that. And we've been doing that all the time. So
I want to ask you more about that. So you and I both know there are a lot of instruments hidden in people's closets or under their bed or in an attic or whatever. Yeah. And it's a sad affair. These lonely instruments could be being loved. So I want to know, like, producer, we could maybe, because people are not only watching this now, but in the future, if they've discovered, oh, we have instruments that we'd like to donate, what's the process? What do they need to do? Do they need to get a hold of you?
Well, they can call me.
What are the channels to make that happen?
Am I allowed to give my phone number over the air?
That's up to you.
Oh, 208-440-4590. That's 208-440-4590. Or an easier thing to remember is boiseblues.org. boiseblues.org. And if you contact boiseblues.org, we will find a home for that instrument. Sometimes we have money for repair of those instruments. We have a horn repair company in Nampa that fixes donated horns for free.
Wow.
And we have money. Sometimes somebody wants to donate a saxophone, but there's something wrong with it. They'll pay for the repair of that horn. Most of these places are for a tax write-off. The schools have tax write-off forms for you can get credit on your taxes for this a tuba that you're donating.
Yeah.
By golly.
Yeah.
And we've done this many, many times, and I can tell you stories.
That is
So I have a
fantastic.
question.
That's fantastic. I love that.
Why would a person want to become a member of the Idaho Blues Society?
Oh, to support blues music.
Okay. And what would be my role? Like, what am I as a member? What am I doing?
Oh, you're just joining for $20 a year or whatever,
Okay.
and then you'll get the schedules of what the Idaho Blues Society puts on blues events, like at the Sapphire Room, and like for example at the Sandbar, the Idaho Blues Society books Tuesday blues at the Sapphire. So a blues band plays at the Sandbar from the beginning of the Sandbar season in May or whenever it is to the end in early October. Every Tuesday night at the Sandbar is a local blues band. So once in a while, a road band, but some of my bands play on Tuesday nights because I'm a blues musician pretty much, and some of my bands sometimes play on the Tuesday night blues night at the Sandbar. But the Sapphire also has indoor blues nights, like the Hoochie Coochie Men, for example. We were the house band at the Blues Bouquet. We are playing Friday, January 16th at the Sapphire Room. The next night is Too Slim and the Tail Draggers.
Wow.
By golly.
You're a mover and a shaker.
Well, some people, music is what I do.
Yeah.
I can't change a door handle, but I can do music.
I love that. Well, that's a different skill set, as some would say, right?
So Ken,
I wanted to catch up on a couple of comments here real quick. James Harrison was talking about like downtown Boise used to be a destination place in the 80s and 90s, and lines to get into every downtown club. In general, most bars and restaurants close because the revenue doesn't cover the expenses. One can only last at a loss for so long.
Well, again, back in the day, those heydays, the 70s and the 80s, everybody would come down to live music venues. Everybody would come down. Now, a lot of people my age, we that's what we did when we were in college and in our 20s. We would go out to hear live music. That's not the case anymore. People don't have to go hear live music anymore like their parents did or their grandparents did.
Yeah. That's
not a thing anymore. And again, James Harrison probably, and people, well, he's a little younger than I am. He maybe played in some of those bands that toured around 5 nights in this place in
wherever, right? Yeah.
And then the next week, 5 nights, and there was a band house. But all these musicians were in their 20s and 30s and stuff, but they're just, those days are gone. And now if you have a 2-night stand someplace, that means you really draw well. But right now, places like the Riverside Hotel, they have like the 365, the 365 lobby has music 365 nights a week, a year, and very often they hire over 300 different music acts a year.
Oh wow!
In the Riverside Hotel, road bands and local bands, but it's not a thing as much to go out and hear live music as it used to be. And anyway, we could talk about.
Do you think do you think that it's people just have other things that interest them, or do you think that they don't value music?
All that stuff, video games, staying home, Netflix, going to sports bars, going to hear DJs. See, DJs are a much bigger thing. You can go to a bar, and why do I need to hear live musicians playing music I don't know when I can go hear the DJ playing music that I do know. And now DJs are superstars, and
Yeah.
and it's just a completely different thing. And we can't. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. And it doesn't do me any good as a musician or music lover. Oh man, back in 1966. Oh man, back in
Back in my day.
1972. That was, hey, it's different.
Yeah.
If things change.
Do you
Right.
do you think that there's something that the music community as a whole needs to do to change that, to like make that shift back? Or
I don't know. I see, things change in life.
Yeah.
And Boise is not going to be this idyllic place that it was in 1960 and the early 1970s. There's a lot of people moving here, and there's a lot of traffic, and that's just the way things are.
but there's also a lot of musicians moving here, like from like a lot of big, like people that were in big bands traveling national acts.
Yeah,
like,
and they
they're
move
moving
here, and then when they go on tour, they just fly out of Boise.
Yeah.
Then they don't have to live in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
They can just move, and there's a lot of people like that who live in smaller, more pleasant communities.
Yeah.
And then when they go on their 3-month tour, they just jump on the plane and they're gone for 3 months. Now, for example, Mountain Home now has a new jazz and comedy club called Bees House, and I'm playing there Sunday with a trio that I have, jazzy, bluesy, funky trio, and Bees House, 175 North 2nd East in downtown Mountain Home, and it's Mountain Home. That's a hard thing to start jazz in, but they have jazz and comedy. Bees House in Mountain Home, and that's one place. But you have to, if you're going to have a place where most of your people are going to like country, well, it's not going to do any good to have a punk band in there,
Right.
or a shredder band in there, or a jazz band in there, when your demographic, your patrons, want to hear country.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I played this Vault Cigar Bar in Eagle, and I played it twice, and it was great, nice, great audience response. But the breathing, the secondhand cigar smoke, and how my clothes were gotten home. We had to stop playing there, even though I had played in bars that had secondhand smoke when I was 25,
Right.
30.
Yeah.
But now at my age, it just wasn't worth it. But it was too bad, because the people, the patrons in the Vault cigar bar in Eagle were very appreciative audience members.
Yeah.
My golly.
Let's
Can I break, folks? Right here is the Drummergy cup.
Yes.
Coffee cup. Is this for sale? Can you order this?
Well, can they order that?
I sure.
Okay, folks. No, wait a minute. Here, I'm not a paid representative. Here's the, I don't know if you can see it. Here, I'll go like this. See that? Now you can buy your own coffee cup from this broadcast.
Yes.
If you just how does somebody contact you to buy one of these?
I can just message me, and
Okay.
Yeah. Are they on the store?
they're not.
Oh, we need to get those on the store. We have an Etsy store. It's called The Merry Moon. And you can get things like this there, the Fred Rock School of Drumming hoodie. We have all kinds of shirts, drumming and music related apparel, and hats, and Drummergy apparel. And I think the mugs are supposed to be getting put on there as well.
Now, if any of you out there used to play drums when you were in college and you gave it up, and now you are retired and you always have wished that you hadn't given it up, and you want to start playing drums again, can you call Fred Fisher and have him give you drum lessons?
Yeah. Right here.
Okay.
And I have a handful of students who are in that exact scenario.
And not only that, why should I do that? Well, for example, for blues music, there's 3 open mic blues jams a month in Boise where the drums are already set up, and you can go sign up and play the drum set that's right there.
Yeah.
Because you've been warming up and getting back into it by taking lessons from Fred Fisher.
I love that. So Rick Oliver is here.
Hi, Rick.
And he mentioned the Jingle Jam.
Well, that's a whole nother thing.
Yeah.
I can't speak to that. And
he said that you're playing it.
Well,
let's see. Where did
December
he say?
5th, I believe.
Ask Ken about performing at this year's Jingle Jam with the kiddos.
Yeah. And I have to talk about the specifics, but I think that's...
Is that the
Rick,
Egyptian?
Yeah, Rick helped me out. I think that's December 5th at the Egyptian. And Rick can communicate what cause that supports. It's for a good cause.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Rick can speak to that.
Yeah. Rick was here a few weeks ago.
Okay.
And we talked about that briefly.
Okay.
Yeah. So Ken,
yes,
you brought some instruments.
That's very true.
And I know, because I packed that accordion into the studio for you. And now I once heard, you can help me square this away. Like the accordion is a instrument that's requires a specific taste. Would you agree?
Yes and no. The accordion got a bad rap here in the United States in the early 1960s when the Beatles were breaking out with their guitars and stuff.
Yeah.
And then it got associated with cornball music, as we might say, Lawrence Welk. And so some people, my maternal grandmother always watched Lawrence Welk, and my paternal grandfather always watched Lawrence Welk, and you could call it cornball. But Clifton Chenier is the king of Zydeco accordion, and that whole Zydeco accordion style has brought the accordion back. Now, since you asked,
before you grab it,
okay,
because you're going to grab that,
okay.
But before we went live, and I carried this accordion into the studio. It's sitting right here.
Yeah.
Ken was telling me that he had his car parked in front of his house, and he woke up one morning early, because you're an early riser, right?
No, are you going to tell this sad story?
Well, I don't know if it's sad or not, but Ken had this realization that he had left his car unlocked all night.
Oh no, no, this was this happened on a hot July night.
No,
a few years ago, and I had my accordion in the back. It was a hot July night. I had my accordion in the back seat, and I was in the Jackson's no more than 2 minutes, and the car was unlocked. The windows were rolled down, and I got back to my car, and there were 2 accordions in the back seat.
Ding ding! If only I had a kachoo right here. Right?
There's other stories like that.
Oh man!
Carrie Witt is joining us.
Hi,
Carrie Witt's here.
James Harrison says his mom played the accordion.
Yeah.
And same with Carrie. She said she is bass.
Yeah. Now I play the Idaho Peace Band now has 4 accordion players.
What?
Hopefully I think we're all going to show up for the Veterans Day Parade, including Ilana, the lead singer of the Moody Jews. She has taken the accordion back up.
Wow.
If there's anybody out there who wants to take accordion lessons, piano accordion lessons, and they're serious and they promise to practice, I will give them several free lessons.
Wow.
All they have to do is get a piano accordion, and I'll help them do that. And they have to promise to practice.
So
I love that.
So who all or what all instruments are you looking for the Peace Band?
Oh, horn players.
Like brass or
yeah. Trumpet, sax, trombone.
Okay.
That stuff. We're doing pretty good right now, but basically anybody who wants to join, we do good causes. We do rallies. We like for the women's rally on the State House steps, January 18th, we had 26 people in the band.
Wow.
Hopefully we'll have about 20 people, and there's no dues or no fees. Show up when you want. This stuff is all really easy. And we really would like young people. It's a community band.
Right.
And then back in the day, community bands were hundreds of years old. Every little village or whatever had their own community band where the grandpas were in the band. The grandpas and the grandmas were in the same band with their granddaughters and grandsons who wanted to become musicians.
Wow.
And that's what we do.
Yeah.
And so young musicians, especially.
Do you have young people in the band now?
Not enough, hardly any. We have all types, but again, it's not as much of a thing. Live music is not as much of a thing. Why should I get into live music when I can sit around and play video games, or when I can watch Netflix? The couch. I can just stay on my couch and binge watch TV shows.
Right.
Why should I go hear some live music when I can just stay on my couch and watch and binge watch episodes of this radio or this television program or that television program?
Right.
Well, I'm curious because there's there's kids that graduate high school that maybe they did jazz band and marching band and all that stuff, but they're not going on to, maybe they're not going to college, or if they're going to college, they're not doing music. Yeah. But would this be like a fun outlet for them?
Well, we don't play very often, and it's not. And again, we'll do the warm up, the 20 or 25-minute warm up for some rally or something like that, or play at an elder care facility. That's perfect. It's not Carnegie Hall. If you're not sure of what the next note is or what the next chord is, just don't play and then jump in.
Leave it out.
It's a community band. It's not a professional Carnegie Hall band where you have an 8-page writer that says we have to have a silver tea set and green M&Ms. But should we get back to the accordion?
Yeah, well, you have a few instruments here, so let's do a little show and tell with Ken Harris.
Now, for example, the Idaho Blues Society has the Blues in the Schools. This is a diatonic harmonica. Now, the Chinese invented the harmonica, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years ago.
The Chinese?
Way back. This particular harmonica is a diatonic, a 10-hole harmonica that's tuned to the Richter scale. And this particular harmonica started getting manufactured in Germany, 1830s, 1840s. And when you have this 10-hole harmonica, if you blow this particular diatonic harmonica is in the key of A. So this is an A major chord. Then if you draw in your breath, suck in your breath, it becomes an E dominant 7th chord. So this harmonica was designed back then to play traditional music along the lines of this.
Wow.
So that's what this diatonic harmonica, the type of music it was made to play. Music that went on the 1 chord to the 5 chord. Then these harmonicas started getting imported to North America in the 1860s, and slaves got a hold of them because they were easy to hide from the man and all that stuff. And they didn't know what kind of music this diatonic harmonica was supposed to play. And they found out that by trial and error, that if they started on the draw chord, the intake chord first, they could get a whole different sound with this harmonica.
Wow.
And that's what they invented. So that kind of bluesy rock and roll, whatever you want to call it, harmonica playing is the kind of harmonica playing that you hear all over the place in all different kinds of music today. And these slaves back in North America in the 1860s invented that. And you'll hear a lot of stuff in these old recordings. Trains went everywhere. And in the Grand Ole Opry, D. Ford Bailey was this black harmonica player that was a star in the Grand Ole Opry. And we can get into the history of blues harmonica. But to me, the godfather of electric blues harmonica is a guy named Little Walter Jacobs. And to go to YouTube, Little Walter Jacobs, he pretty much invented, in my opinion, the style of electric blues harmonica playing. And he was Muddy Waters' first harmonica player in the early 1950s. Then he happened to get a hit instrumental that got airplay called Juke. And then and it sold a lot of records. And so he quit Muddy Waters and went off on his own. Little Walter Jacobs on YouTube.
Wow. That was awesome.
One of my idols. And there's a billion harmonica players out there. And Paul Butterfield is who I first heard in 1960s. Paul Butterfield was a white harmonica player from Chicago who was really, really good. And he learned from a lot of the greats in Chicago because the Chicago blues had a lot of harmonica players. And so I first heard pretty much electric blues harmonica from the Paul Butterfield Blues Band in the 1960s.
Wow.
Now, a first cousin of the harmonica is the accordion.
First cousin.
Okay, and wait.
The first cousin.
Yeah, first cousin. Now, can you talk while I do this?
I can talk. I played with the harmonica players on Saturday night.
Who?
His name is John Nemeth.
Oh, you played with John Nemeth?
Yeah.
For a gig?
Yeah.
Oh, you were hired?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Wow, I didn't know that. Well, where'd you play?
At the Basque Center.
Wow. For was it a public gig?
I don't know what it was. So it was John, who I never met until I walked in with my drums.
Yeah.
And Tim from Too Slim and the Tail Draggers.
Yeah.
Bob Humphreys on bass.
Yeah.
Andrew, I can't remember his last name on piano.
Oh,
Andy Frim Fram Four.
Yeah.
Who was fantastic, by the way.
Yeah, he's really good.
He was a lot of times drummers are going to watch the bass player for what's happening. I couldn't take my eyes off of Andy. He was
Andy
good.
is fantastic.
Yeah.
I got to get my Andy is a philosophy professor at BSU.
I did not know that.
And Andy played with Otis Rush. Andy is one of the hot piano players around.
What do you need there, Ken?
Well, I just need it's a little the stool is a little unstable and my butt is a little no, that's okay. Here, I got it. So anyway,
this is live TV.
Live TV. So this, ladies and gentlemen, is a piano accordion. Now I don't know if you want to adjust your set or whatever.
Do I need to move this over a little bit?
Well, it's just here's the full view. I'm gonna get my accordion on here in a minute. Now, Da-da-da-da-da-da.
Oh, it's
How's our angle here? Wow. So this is a now you can't reach. Let's see. I'm trying to get a camera angle that you can see the whole thing that I'm doing, but I gotta go anyway.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
here's the piano accordion because it's a piano keyboard right here, and then the bass buttons are over here. A little hard to see. So
There they are.
this row is. Well, sorry you can't see it. Darn it. Now, let's see here. Well, here, can I just stand? I'll just stand right here. So, la 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 la. Oops, I'm going the wrong way. Oh, this is hard to see.
It's very backwards.
So,
Ken, we're a low budget show here.
so anyway, here are these bass buttons.
Yeah,
Here.
yeah,
The
there they
bass
are.
buttons.
There they are.
And so there are 2 rows of bass buttons going towards my face and down to the floor. So that's like the tuba player or the bass player right there. And then below each bass button, is a major chord. And below that is as a major chord. Here's a minor chord. Here's a dominant 7th chord. So no matter where you are, you have your bass note and your major chord, then your minor chord, then your dominant 7th chord. Now, this is all. It makes it really easy to play in any key in the with the bass buttons because they're all the same. They're all the same.
You're good.
Now, that's one kind of music, but you can just play any kind of music on the accordion, and you don't have to play cornball music. You can play Louie Louie. You can play any kind of music. Let's just say that you like the Clash. Should I stay or should I go?
Yeah.
Girl, you got to let me know. Should I stay or should I go? The decision's killing me. If you don't want me, set me free. Come on and let me know. Should I stay or should I go? So it's a wonderful one-person, one-man band, one-person band instrument because this a piano accordion has the bass player, the accompaniment, chords, and then the melody over here. But we can have the no, I'm not kidding. We can have this member of the family, the harmonica, a blow instrument, and wind powered instrument, and this is a wind powered instrument because I'm going back and forth with the bellows.
Wow.
So it's not. Oh, it's not a cornball musical instrument inherently. It's what music is played, and so you hear, like my favorite band, my favorite local band is Seamus and the Dregs, and Seamus and the Dregs play Irish punk accordion music.
Hmm.
And you know them, right?
Yeah, you've talked about them
Yeah.
a few times. I think.
Seamus and the Dregs, go out and see them. It's Irish punk accordion music. And if you don't think it's possible for that to exist, go hear them because they are my favorite local band.
Wow.
What was their name again?
Seamus.
Seamus and the Dregs. And James Turner, my buddy,
D-R-I-G.
Seamus, Seamus and the Dregs. Dregs.
Oh, Dregs.
And anyway, that's my favorite local band.
Wow.
So I'm going to put this down, and we're going to talk.
Have you sat in with that band at all?
No. James is the accordion player, and he's the guy. And so, no, I just like to go. and they play shows, and they just released a fairly recent CD.
Now, what is this other instrument that is
Well, thanks for
lounge-
asking.
that's
You
lounging over
never
there
asked.
on the conga drums?
What is this?
So speaking of wind-driven keyboard instruments,
Yes.
this, ladies and gentlemen, is a melodica, and you've seen this. That guy Batiste on the Tonight Show, where he plays a lot of these things. Ooh, it's falling out. Okay, so here, let's do that again. Put that there. You stay right there. Actually,
Wow.
if you don't mind, can you get a pair of drumsticks and keep time on the table right now?
Well, I
And
can.
you and I can jam.
Okay.
I'll
grab
we
a-
don't do this often, but since he's a drummer and since he has drumsticks, and so we're gonna have.
And this is your first podcast.
Well, yeah.
We're making history
So,
right
okay,
here.
so I
Okay.
bet you can find some drumsticks.
can.
And so anyway, this is a melodica, and it's very convenient to have these. You can play the melodica with a mouthpiece that goes like this. Oops, goes like this. But I prefer having the tube so I can just stretch out physically a little bit. So now we're not rehearsed, by the way, but if you can. Hang it. Sorry, I lost time.
We're getting that. It's cutting out real bad. Oh man.
It's like I think the streaming service is like.
Okay. Well, anyway, that's enough of that. We're not going to do that anymore.
Well, for those that didn't witness it in person, it was pretty awesome.
Okay. So people, one thing about live music, if somebody can keep time and play a good drum and play a good drum groove, and somebody can play something like this, then you have a nice little band. It sounded really good to me.
Sounded great to me. It was just this. I think we were overwhelming the system.
Yeah, we don't want to do that.
They can't take that much awesome.
Yeah, the technology hasn't been invented yet, folks. There'll be some IT guy or computer guy or girl up there. That's what their problem was. Let's invent a app, a program, a thing to fix that so it doesn't freak out the system.
Right.
Next year.
Next year. Yeah.
That on the to-do list.
Anyway, thanks for jamming. You sounded really good.
Thanks.
So John Namath, you jammed with him. I mean, John Namath is the local blues superstar made good, and he's famous all over the world.
Yeah, I think if I remember correctly, he's in Memphis, based out of Memphis now. But so this Gary Tackett referred me.
Okay.
And like the day before.
Oh wow.
And I said, well, what am I playing? And he said, well, I don't know, but I'm going to give your phone number to Tim from Too Slim. Yeah. And so Tim Langford, so Tim messaged me and said,
there you go.
Hey, we just need people to show up and if you can keep time, that would be great. And so I said, hi, how you doing? And I said, John, I don't know any of your material. He goes, that's fine. I don't know any of yours. And I was like, okay, that makes sense. And he said, looked at Tim and Bob and Andy and said, we're going to play just a one chord thing, whatever key he said. And he goes, 1, 2, a little blues shuffle. And I was like, oh, okay, here we go.
Yeah.
And we were in and it was just a lot of paying attention.
Somebody like yourself is a very experienced drummer and musician. So whatever you hear them laying down, as we say,
I got to respond to that.
Then you know, I'm going to play this kind of beat on the snare drum, and this kind of beat on the cymbal, and this kind of beat on the bass drum, and I'm sure everybody was very happy with everybody.
Yeah, it went over fine, and there were people there were dancing and having a good time,
But you got called the day before. Did somebody drop out and they got sick, or they couldn't do it? Or did they just not bother to get around to getting a drummer?
You know what? I don't know the answer to that. all I know is that it was like, who's available?
Okay, here we are.
And I was the guy that was available.
Right.
So that's how I was rolling.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Hey, good job. You sounded really good.
Oh, thanks, man. Ken.
That's the first time you and I have ever jammed.
I know. Rick Oliver says, coming into a venue near you, the Ken and Fish duo. Debbie Coots is here. What a hoot. Great way to get my morning or going this morning. I think Facebook is cutting in and out on purpose, which is a testament to how good they are. Oh.
Okay, we're not going to do that anymore.
Well,
let's just talk.
Yeah. Talking is good.
Okay.
Talking is good. What is so what's your current band?
I have 11 bands.
No way.
Ken Harris Music.
You need another so you can have a dozen.
No, I have 12 or 13. It's this. I have a whole bunch of bands of which I'm a member, and none of them play very often, and none of them make a lot of money. But for example, one of my favorite new bands is myself on right-hand piano, left-hand keyboard, bass, like the guy of the Doors. So I'm playing the bass part and the chordal piano part, and then Kent Persons on the saxophone.
Kent's great.
And this in Mountain Home on Sunday, it'll be Steve MacGyver on drums.
MacGyver.
And then sometimes anyway, and then I have another trio with Oliver Thompson on violin, myself on left-hand keyboard, bass, and right-hand piano, and Scott Reusser on the drums.
Yeah.
And then one of my main bands that I have is with my wife Carmel Kroc. We have Carmel and the Closers.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Hoochie Coochie Men. We're now in our 33rd year.
Wow.
And the Idaho Peace Band playing at the Veterans Day Parade this Saturday, November 8th, Saturday. Then I play solo piano. I'm playing the solo piano at a memory care outfit at Cathedral of the Rockies on Thursday afternoon. I'm also doing a solo piano tomorrow at a elder care facility on State Street, where I sing and play the piano, and then all this stuff. Then I have a little classic rock trio with my wife Carmel Kroc and the guitar player Mark Udding. And last Saturday, a band that we formed during the pandemic called the Quirky Quarantine Quorum. We just played at O'Michael's last Saturday night. And if you go to Quirky Quarantine Quorum, you can hear our music. So I have all these bands and they're all fun. And what else am I going to do? Watch golf reruns? No.
They play golf reruns?
Well, I mean, not the bands don't, but people sit and watch golf reruns.
Man.
And people see, I don't watch a lot of TV, but a lot of people, some of whom I'm related to, they binge watch TV programs.
Yeah.
I that would be very, very difficult for me. Anyway, it's just, some people do that. Some people have 11 bands, but I like to make phone calls and I like to organize stuff. And that's what I do because I can't change a door handle.
Well,
but I can make phone calls.
I like that. What, is it fair? I'm going to ask the question. How old are you, Ken?
I'll be 77 Christmas Eve.
Wow. Dude.
77 Christmas Eve.
Still rocking it.
Not only that, my little sister on Christmas Eve will turn 71. My parents were organized.
Yeah. Boy, they got out the calendar, didn't they?
So children 4 and 5 were both born on Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Anyway, so
that's a party.
So I've been a professional musician since 1963, and that's all I've ever really wanted to do.
Yeah.
Much to the consternation of my father, who wished that I had become a lawyer.
Oh.
But hey,
I think being a musician is probably more fun.
It's more fun. It provides financial instability, as we say.
Well, I'm well aware.
And what's more exciting than financial instability?
I just think it's cool that you just did a pickup gig with John Namath, international blues superstar.
Yeah.
And you hadn't heard his music and you never met the guy and you shook hands on the bandstand and you just went off and you played a gig with John Namath.
Yeah. He was telling me about this and I said, a lot of musicians and singers have nightmares about showing up to the gig and they don't know any of the music and they're on stage and they don't know anything. And I said, you just jumped into that nightmare.
Well, I told her, I said, firemen run into fires.
Yeah. Yeah. And see, I mean, how long have you been playing drums professionally?
Professionally, 35 years.
So if you've been playing professionally for 35 years, chances are that whatever kind of gig that you run into, you'll be able to at least acquit yourself admirably.
Yeah. my number one job is to keep time.
Yeah. Yeah.
In whatever feel that's presented. And as soon as John looked at me and said, "We're gonna do the blues shuffle," and he goes, 1, 2, 1, 2. There's the setup for the tempo, right?
Yeah.
And all I got to do is.
Yeah. Now, may I digress? Speaking of all this stuff,
Yes.
the whole point of live music is to present a piece,
Mm-hmm.
a composition, a symphony, a song, whatever. It starts with the drummer keeping a groove, or keeping the time. If the more the drummer is keeping that groove, keeping that time, the better the song will be presented. Now, it's no accident that a lot of these famous bands had fantastic drummers. The Beatles had Ringo Starr.
Mm-hmm.
The Led Zeppelin had John Bonham. The Who had Keith Moon. John Coltrane had Elvin Jones. Yada, yada, yada. All these blues bands, the Chicago blues bands, had fantastic blues drummers. Fred Below and S.P. Leary, and don't get me started. The drummer on the very first Paul Butterfield album was a guy named Sam Lay. That was the first blues I ever heard. Sam Lay used to play with Howling Wolf, one of the Chicago blues legends.
Yeah.
If you have a drummer, to me, the drummer is the most important part of the band. When Charlie Watts passed away, the Rolling Stones lost a lot of their thing.
Right.
And it's very hard to put into words. But when you hear the Rolling Stones with Charlie Watts playing, and then you hear the Rolling Stones playing with Charlie Watts' replacement, it's not the same to me. Now, hear these Rolling Stones songs, they're all right. But Charlie Watts had that swing about him. The Cream had Ginger Baker.
Right. Yeah.
Don't get me started. Metallica, Lars is the drummer. The AC/DC. That guy, and I don't know his name, that original drummer with AC/DC knew how to lay it down. Every great band has a great drummer. Now they have a great bass player and they have great singers, but if you're presenting music out there, the drummer, the percussion section, the percussionist have to be really laying it down. And if they're not laying it down, setting a groove, setting a good tempo, presenting the piece of music the way it should be presented, then it's going to do that composition a little bit of a disservice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So there's no surprise that you walked in cold with John Namath, and with your experience and your musicality, laid it down, and everybody was dancing and having a great time. And if you would have asked any of the, if you would have told anybody in the audience, "Hey, this drummer ever heard this guy ever until half hour ago?" What?
Yeah.
How did he do that?
Well, so I'm not really clear on what the event was that we were there,
John
but
Namath was it open to the public?
no, I think,
private party.
former Mayor Dave Beater was there, and he was giving some speech, and the mayor of Meridian was there, and a bunch of mayors. And I don't pay attention to politics super close, so I couldn't tell you who's who. But
Dave Beater is John Namath's brother-in-law.
Ah, okay. So maybe that's why John was there then. So at any rate, I bring my stuff in, and Dave Beater's giving the speech, and so my stuff's just off to the side. And I'm like, we're getting close to like downbeat time, right? So I just very quietly, as quiet as I could, put drums together, and so after his speech was over, some gal came up and talked to me, and she said, "Well, what's the name of your band?" And I said, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't, because I don't know. And then she said, well, where are you guys from? And I said, well, I'm from Boise, and John apparently is from Memphis. She's like, oh, you don't know him? I'm like, no, I met him just a moment ago. And I said, I have no idea what we're going to do. And she goes, some family member of hers is a drummer wherever she's from. And she said, I could tell it's going to be great, or something like that. Just, I don't know, but she was out there dancing like crazy. Yeah. Yeah.
And so that's the good thing when you show up. I mean, I don't know what it's like to be a chef in the kitchen and there's some big event and the head chef gets sick and some other chef just comes in off, as a referral. Well, that person is probably going to know what to do to make that meal go out
right
admirably.
Yeah. It was very comfortable, but I
of course you were great musicians. I mean, that bass player,
Bob. Yeah.
I mean, Bob is one of the best blues bass players around. So you were locked into it with him, and then you were playing with Andy,
right?
You're locked into it with him, and Tim. A band of unrehearsed
pros,
unrehearsed great musicians is going to sound better than a band of mediocre rehearsed musicians.
Yeah,
because just experience counts.
Yeah, and John would turn around and say, "Okay, now play me a jungle groove." I'm like, "Okay." I'm just pulling rabbits out of my hat, right? and Andy was so animated and smiling and
encouraging.
I kind of leaned on him the most, and he was directing band. We're going to go to the 1, we're going to the 4, and just signaling and man, it just kept. And before I knew it, over an hour had passed by, and we're okay. Now,
was it fun?
James says Phil Rudd was the drummer for AC/DC.
Oh,
okay, Phil Rudd. Okay,
yeah. Rick Oliver, I can't believe you just played with John Nemeth. I've been in negotiations with this camp for the past 2 weeks for a Boise gig. Agreed. The drummer is the most important person in the group. Yeah. Drummers are kind of like roads. Some are smooth and very comfortable, and some are just a disastrous gravel bumpy road, right?
Well, that could be the same for anybody, right?
But it like, for example, Keith Moon.
Yes.
Of the Who. I saw an interview with Glenn Johns, who was a producer on some of the Who stuff, apparently.
Yeah.
And I get them all mixed up. But I said, what was it like playing, recording in the studio with Keith Moon? He says, gee, I don't know. All he would do is hit the drums as hard as he could. And that's all I really knew.
Now, I worked with Glenn Johns' brother, Andy Johns.
You did? Okay.
Yeah, in a recording session down in LA. But those two did a lot of the Led Zeppelin recording.
Yeah. And I came up thinking, okay, well, Jimi Hendrix or Mitch Mitchell, Cream, Ginger Baker, and this drummer that I played with, John Bonham. That was his guy. And John Bonham was drummers extremely influential, and that's why when he died, that was the end. There's no way they were going to try to replace John Bonham. And so that's why Led Zeppelin broke up. When the Average White Band drummer Robbie McIntosh died, they tried out hundreds of drummers. And they finally settled on, but it wasn't Robbie McIntosh. Robbie McIntosh on that first Average White Band album, he was really, really good. Now I'm trying to think. Steve Farron, maybe that was the guy's name who. But anyway,
well, you talked about Charlie Watts.
There's another one.
There's now this, when I was younger, I did not notice this. It wasn't until, bass players have a lot of rhythm sensibilities too. And one bass player brought to my attention because we were just winging a Stones tune. And he was pointing out that Charlie's hi-hat followed his kick drum pattern. Like it wasn't just constant straight eights.
Yeah. See,
And
I'm
so
not
he'd
a
have like
drummer.
kind of a thing going. Now I don't know if that was the case on all of them, but there's a certain feel and there's a personality behind all of that. And when you replace that, there's no way that it can be the same.
See, Charlie Watts had a big jazz background.
Sure, most of those drummers did.
So he brought that jazz sensibility into playing Rolling Stones music.
Right.
So the music, as we say in the trade, swung.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you listen to those old, those Charlie Watts Rolling Stones songs, they swing. And when I first heard the replacement, whatever that guy's name is, it just wasn't the same.
Right.
Because that guy didn't swing, it didn't groove, whatever, like
Charlie.
like Charlie Watts did. And but I think that part of that came from the fact that Charlie Watts had a jazz background and so had that jazz feel that he applied to the Rolling Stones.
Yeah, but I think a lot of drummers in that era had that huge jazz influence in their playing. Yeah,
right.
And I think that's why there was that magic in their playing as a result of that.
This is green health drink, folks.
Yeah, he said when he walked in with it that he had his health drink with him.
So
did you blend that up this morning?
Well, I did the best I could. This is protein, vanilla protein. I got some greens in there and some beet powder. So beet powder, baby. And actually, maybe the beet powder gives me a better groove.
Getting the beet powder. Yeah, I'm with you. I want to know. Okay, you said you're 77. You play in
almost 77.
Almost 7 on New Year's Eve, or excuse me, Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
Almost 77. You're very energetic, and you are very involved with a lot of musical things. Now, Ken, I know other people in your age group who have ongoing ailments and they're constantly yelling about getting off their lawn and they're just grumpy. You are not that person. Do you attribute that to the music?
Partially is genetics. Yes, the music really helps.
Okay.
Endorphins, whatever.
Sure. Yeah.
Playing music releases endorphins, so I'm never truly happy unless I'm playing a gig. Although I get really nervous before the gig. But I have really good genes. Both my parents were extremely outgoing and energetic, but really outgoing.
Mm-hmm.
So I lucked out with the genes. But I think that there's something to be said for, and I'm not a scientist, but there's something that happens to the body and the mind and the soul and the heart when you're playing music. Endorphins, what are endorphins? I don't quite know
what makes you happy, right?
Yeah. And so
dopamine release.
Yeah, all that stuff. So at the end of a gig, I'm starving.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, me too.
I have to go have a breakfast at a nice local diner here after this podcast.
You're eating breakfast here, buddy.
That local diner.
Yeah.
Yeah, the local
the Fisher Kitchen.
Bro, he was. Come on,
Chef Mary.
That's what he was saying.
I know.
No, that's what I was joking about. I'm the Mary Moon breakfast.
The Mary Moon
breakfast. That's right.
So I think playing music is good for my health.
Yeah.
And I think that if I had that release or that invigoration, that really helps because I play music all the time, and it's stressful sometimes organizing it all. I better get going. I don't want to be late and all that kind of stuff. But other than that, deadlines are deadlines, no matter what kind of work.
Well, you get some exercise in that too, hauling your gear in and out, and you're not.
I'm not an old fart, right?
Right, exactly.
I try not to be, and it's always very interesting for me with my peers.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, XYZ, want to come hear me? Yeah. When do you play? Well, Saturday night I'm playing at 8:00. 8 o'clock.
Right?
Oh, that's when I start thinking about going to bed.
Right? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
If that's what you want
Well,
to
I
do.
tell people 7 a.m. They're like, that's what I think about staying in bed.
Anyway.
Not everybody can be us,
I
Ken.
go running at 7 a.m. to the bathroom.
Well, anyway, here
Good
we
evening.
are. We're doing what we love. It's really important to do what you love what you do.
Yeah.
And if one truly loves what he or she does, then it's not a job, it's
Right.
not work. And you hear this all the time. Well, I get paid to do this.
Mhm.
I do it for free.
Well, so I had circumstances pop up in my life a few years ago that I had to make a change in what I was doing with my job. And I found a way through the help of some mentors and some great people in my life how to make a living doing music.
Mhm.
And ever since that's happened, every day I love waking up. Every day I get to do music. Every day I'm doing something with Mary, like we're both involved with music so heavily. We get to hang out with people like yourself, and none of it feels like a job.
Now, can I ask you a question?
Yes.
What was it like your previous life? How was your previous life different because you had a certain job?
Mm.
What was it like waking up every morning and going to your job?
It was miserable.
Why? Why?
Because I wasn't doing.
He didn't like what he was doing.
I feel like we're all given a God-given talent,
Yeah.
and I think it's our responsibility to use that talent.
So you got this job. Why did you get this job? Just to make money? Or was that the overriding factor? You had, it was good pay and you can make your mortgage payment and stuff like that.
Well, there's that, but I own my own landscaping business,
Yeah.
and prior to that, I really just had jobs that I could quit if I needed to do music.
Oh, okay.
Well, then when you find yourself married, and then on top of it having children, like this huge responsibility,
financial responsibility,
and that stability, right?
Yeah.
And so I never thought it was possible to make a living being a musician, because everything that I'd been experienced prior to that told me that was the case.
Yeah.
Right. I just never, until I got around people that said, this is how you do it. These are the things you need to do. That it finally seemed like, that's possible.
Did you get advice from people of your peers in similar lifestyles and vocations of how to start a drum teaching business?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Teaching, recording, asking for what you want, how to negotiate better with people.
What advice did you get about starting a drum teaching business?
What advice did I get?
Yeah.
One was, well, first of all, what to charge.
Yeah.
And
okay.
Well, but back up a second. So because he had taught lessons just on the side for a long time, and so, a student here, a student there, whatever. But we never felt like Boise needed that many drum teachers. Like there was James, there was a couple other people in town teaching lessons, and we're like, well, how many people really are looking to take drum lessons? And so we didn't think there was actually a need for it, and just got into our own head saying that it couldn't be done.
Okay.
So then he talked to James Harrison, and James was like, yeah, you can do it.
Yeah.
So James Harrison was sure
I'm doing it.
James is kind of my North Star, so to speak.
Okay.
Because he was successful doing that.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
But I mean, I had other people outside in other states, like, because of what I wanted to do, and I was already teaching drum lessons and being a musician in our current way things are. The musician that goes on tour for 3 months, well, what do they do the other 9 months of the year? Right. So it was like, make teaching your number one thing, and then let everything else develop around that.
Ooh, who said that?
That would be like Matt Starr.
Matt Starr.
Matt Starr said that.
Yeah. Yeah, like
Is
make.
Matt watching right now?
I doubt
Sometimes
it.
he watches, but
Sometimes he watches,
but he
he's the-
also said you need to quit that job because when you quit that job, more opportunities will open up.
Oh,
Yeah.
if you open if you do something, then the universe provides an opening.
Yeah.
right.
I like.
Yeah.
See.
Yeah.
There you go.
And he was
Who
right.
told you to do that?
That was Matt.
Yeah,
Matt.
that was Matt.
Yeah. And so I mean, not to get too far in the weeds here, but like what I was charging at that point, I would need 40 students to just like
Okay.
to get by, right?
Okay.
And I was thinking, are there 40 people in Boise that want to take drum lessons from me? Like that just seemed like
But
it seemed a little impossible.
But somebody said you have to raise your rates
Yeah.
and work smarter, and then you'll only be getting students who and their families
Right.
who will want to pay you
Yeah.
this wage
Yeah.
is way better than the one you were charging before, correct?
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. And I mean I've known James for a long time, and James felt like, well, I'm pretty active in the music scene, and with all the stuff I did with Midline and being on big stages and touring and all that, like I would have an advantage kind of because I'm out there doing it.
Yeah.
And
a professional musician drummer
right.
giving drum lessons.
Yeah.
Maybe has a bit more weight associated with it to a parent, let's say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, you want to teach my son or daughter drums and you're a professional musician and you've toured,
Right.
rather than somebody else who maybe got a BA in music but has never been a
Just
professional
went right to
musician.
teaching. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm
Sure.
that. Yeah, you're 100% right.
Right.
And then
I
I
like it.
think the environment that you operate in is really important. So, this space that we're in is developed and developed and developed. It's a lot different than showing up to do drum lessons and they come in my living room and there's my TV and the couch and the kitchen and whatever family activities happening. Or
Well, I'm really glad that you went for it and
Me
you
too.
followed your heart, and that's a really important thing. Love what you do what you love. And if my guy,
so you've lived your whole life that way.
yeah, but I sort of didn't have a choice. I didn't want to do anything else, and so I just and so
Yeah.
and so I did day jobs. Like in Boston, I drove. I had day jobs where I was driving around outside and all that stuff. But this guy that I went to high school with, I was the student body corresponding secretary. He was the student body president, and he went on to become a college biology teacher, basically. And he said he would always tell his students, figure out ways to make money off your hobby.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like Mary, for example, I didn't know anybody who did video editing, and I tried and tried and tried. And then finally I found out from somebody, this woman, Mary Fisher, she does video editing. And so boom.
Yeah.
When I first got together with Mary Fisher to do some video editing on some of my band videos,
Yeah.
that was it.
Yeah.
I don't need to find another video editor in Boise unless she moves away.
Right. Yeah.
But
She's
even then,
great.
I could still make it work.
She's great.
I don't have
But
any plans to move.
We really enjoy when you come over and hearing different stories and getting to know you and just like I really met the title of this Treasure Valley's Treasure. Is Ken Harris sitting right here, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, well, I'm really glad to be here, and thanks for having me. And, and it's a really cool thing that I don't know anything about podcasts and stuff, but Alfred, the bass player buddy of mine, I know him, and Rick Oliver, I know him. And has James Harrison been a guest?
He has, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, earlier this year. Yeah.
All right. So you're always looking for more people to be on your podcast.
Yep.
Well, I don't want to say I'm looking for just anybody.
Yeah.
There's a certain level of professionalism I'm looking for and influence and
meat for the grist for the mill.
yes. Before we go, so James says Jim Keltner and Charlie Watts said they stole their hi-hat patterns, not hitting the hi-hats and snare together, from Levon Helm.
Oh, there's another one.
Yeah.
There's another one. See, I'm not a drummer like these guys are, but Levon Helm, I think he didn't maybe go to graduate school at Berklee College of Music to learn his style. He just invented that style when he was coming up. And very, very, you always hear that word, Levon Helm. And he was playing music from the time he was a teenager and learned to play the drums, not from a book, not from a college course or whatever, but just learning on the gig. And well, this works pretty good.
Yeah.
And that works pretty good. Anyway, we can talk about that stuff. But just for example, rock drumming. And just for example, the bass drum patterns of drums. You can go doom, 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 or you can go doom, 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 or you can go doom, 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 or you can go doom, 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 doom. There's many different kinds of bass drum patterns that make things swing better. And when you start playing music professionally, when you're a teenager, you start to learn on the job. Oh, this pattern works pretty good on that song.
Yeah.
Don't get me started.
I think it's really important to get out there and to swim. You got to get in the water, right?
Yeah.
And so some people just stand by the pool talking about it for so long and think they got to have a better paradiddle or whatever.
Well, I
it's
just
like,
want to tell everybody out there in the audience, if you're a person, a guy or a girl who used to play the drums in middle school or college or high school, and you gave it up for 40 years, you might want to consider calling up Fred Fisher about drum lessons.
Yes. I love that. Did you know that my oldest student I have right now is 72 years old?
I wouldn't be at all surprised. How old is the youngest one?
5.
Ladies and gentlemen, that says it all. Red Rock School of Drumming.
Yes.
He has
literally
students
all
from
ages.
age 5 to age 72.
Right.
Maybe you should sign on with Red Rock School of Drumming.
I love that. And on that note, Mr. Ken Harris, thank you so much for being here and really being on the show.
Thank you very much.
Bringing your instruments live playing. To those out there, when we were had the music going, I apologize for the cutting in and out. I don't really know.
That didn't happen when Dustin Morris was here.
You just overwhelmed the internet with your.
Somebody out there doing what they love is going to invent the technology to make that not happen 2 years from now. But for right now,
there we go. And we'll see you next week. Next week's topic is going to be on the short notice gig, how to prepare.
Oh boy.
Really?
Yep.
All right.
Great.
Yeah.
Are you interviewing yourself?
I am. I am.
Maybe I'll interview you.
Yeah. I'll put on sunglasses for one segment, and then when I ask the question, I'll take the sunglasses off.
Oh,
there you go.
Thanks again, Ken. We're going to go have breakfast, and we'll see you guys next week.
Thank you for tuning in.
Yep.
See ya.